Hi everybody, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I want to talk mat supports for the Brother Scan and Cut DX series. I'm sorry this isn't for the CM series. You might be able to do something similar, but I no longer have a CM to design for, so this is for the DX. Now this is a standard DX mat, and you can probably see it has no substance to it. It's floppy, and one of the reasons I believe that people have difficulty in getting things to stay on these mats is that floppiness, because unfortunately this mat is not supported when it's in the machine. It'll be something like that, and when you have a flat substance such as cardboard attached, this drops away. It doesn't stay on properly, even if your mat is reasonably tacky. Even if it's actually a new mat, I found that is a problem. Now to me this is a design flaw that Brother haven't really thought about too much, or at least if they have, they didn't bother coming up with a solution. So I decided I'd have a go myself, because I'm just that sort of person. Now I happen to have access to a 3D printer, and so I printed off this original design. Now ignore this foam, I didn't make it quite the right height, so I just added some foam to it to get it to be higher. So this was my original design. This bit here goes underneath the front edge of the cover, where you have the rubberized strip, and then this theoretically is the same level as the rest of the plate. Now the trouble with this design, and I did put a little bit of foam on there just to give it a little bit of extra grip, by the way. The trouble with this design is rather like a diving board, a bit flexible. And so even though the mat doesn't actually weigh very much, when the mat was on there, it was just dropping down a bit. So I discarded that particular design and I did a fresh one. And this is what I came up with. And I've just added supports here. Now I know this is 3D printed, and you'll say, but I haven't got a 3D printer. You don't have to have a 3D printer. You can make these yourself. This extra piece here means that this does not have that diving board quality to it, and I can actually hang this over the edge of my surface and it still stays in place. To prove exactly how much difference this makes, I'm taking this short piece of video. I am sorry if it's dark, if the lighting isn't wonderful, and there's nothing much I can do about that. I'm taking this on my iPhone, which is something I don't normally use for photography at all. So I've got my machine set up as normal on my desk. You can see I've just got a normal 60 centimetre wide or deep worktop space. That's all I've got. So my mat's just put in front of the machine, and I'm just going to press the button to load the mat. So here we go, mat loading, and as you can see, my mat is actually straight. Now, if I remove my supports, that's what the mat looks like. I will include a file for this down below for anyone who does have a 3D printer, but it's so easy. I mean, it's not hard to do. But I'll include the file in case anyone wants to actually print one off or knows somebody who can. But you could make this in any number of materials. You could, for example, have a little wooden block and add something else there to, put underneath the machine. You could probably do it even from a bent ruler. If you have a metal ruler and you have the means to bend it, you could probably design it out of a metal ruler and do it from that. If you have the ability to use a CNC, of course, you have sheets of acrylic you can cut to make it. I have a CNC, but I just didn't have any material to make it from, and it was the weekend, couldn't get any. But that solves the problem. It means that you have a nice little extra edge for your mat to go onto. Now this is talking about the 12-inch mat. If you have a 24-inch mat, you're obviously going to have something a little bigger than this. And you would want to make sure that if that was the case, it was not only long enough for your mat, but it was sturdy enough that it was going to stay put and wasn't going to flap around at all. Probably the best way of doing that would be to increase the length of these so they actually sit right under the back of the machine. So the back of the machine would sit on it, the whole weight of the machine would be on it. Then you would have much more support this end to support the greater length at the front. I haven't done it for the 24-inch mat because I don't see myself using a 24-inch mat, but the idea is there if you want to run with it. So yeah, problem solved supports. Now why brother could not have actually designed the machine with a fold out extension on the front panel, I don't know. I guess they didn't do it because of cost. But to me that is a false economy because you're making the machine less user friendly by not having it. Now I do not have the slightest clue how I can actually contact anyone in Brother who is going to listen to the people who are using these machines. I would love to know who on earth I can write to give them some ideas of how to actually make this machine better. That's all I want to do. I think the machine's cutting power is great. I think being able to scan in is great. The problem I have with this machine, what lets it down so badly, are these mats and the lack of support. Add a double head and make it slightly wider, even better from my point of view. But, you know, I understand not everyone would want that. But for them to sell a machine where I feel the need to make improvements like this, because not only does it not come with anything to help support the rest of that mat, you can't even buy anything from them to help support that mat, even if you wanted to buy it as an extra. And I don't think things like that should be an added extra. You need that support for the mat because the mat's got no support of its own. It's not rigid enough. The dimensions for these, the rectangular box is 16 centimeters more or less by 4 centimeters high. That's not including the little bit of foam that I put on the top. So it's 4 centimeters high by about 16. It's 2.5 centimeters wide. And this piece here is 5 centimeters long. I made this only 2 millimeters deep because I didn't want to affect the front cover being level. And this here I made to about 3.3 millimeters. You could make it solid if you wanted to, but that's all I did. And it really doesn't need to be solid because the weight isn't very great that's resting on it. So with those measurements you should be able to make it from whatever you want to use. That's my solution for the time being, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Take care now.